Hello, I'm Clint Walker. Welcome to Real Estate Appraiser Secrets. I'm a little short on video ideas at the moment, so if you watch this and you have any burning questions, please leave a comment in below this video, and I'll be happy to, answer whatever questions you have, or pull some idea from the stuff that you agents are dealing with on a daily basis. But I did have an interesting conversation last week with an agent who called me, and she was wanting to potentially become an appraiser. And over the years, I've gotten a lot of calls from people who think they want to become an appraiser. And more often than not, I end up discouraging the people who call me from trying it. And that's one of the reasons for that is many of the people who call me are already agents or working some other job, and they have the idea that they can, through sort of a part-time commitment, go through the trainee period and become an appraiser and just do it part-time. Now, if you are an established appraiser who's been doing this a long time and you own your own business, you could definitely make appraising a lifestyle business. I know a few people who do. They do it a few different ways. Obviously, the income that you want to make is totally up to you, but just by virtue of making one appraisal fee potentially every day, you can sort of turn your pipeline up and down and adjust however you want. I have heard of a local guy who is an avid hunter, and as I understand it from the way he runs his business, he works like 8 months a year, 9 months a year, and in that period of time makes all the money that he cares to make, and then he takes the rest of the year off, I think the winter off, to hunt and do whatever he wants. I have read articles about appraisers who have I read an article about a young appraiser in Texas who, this was several years ago when things were really booming, and you had the luxury of just taking as much work as you could possibly manage. You don't really have that luxury right now. But this person was going to do appraising for 3 or 4 years, save all that money, and then go to something more leisurely, because that would have required just to make what they wanted to make. It would have required extreme hours, an extreme hourly. What am I trying to say? They'd had to churn out an extreme amount of reports. So if you are in it and you are established, this business offers a lot of options on how you earn your money. I like to keep my smooth. I work year round, and I like to keep my pipeline full but consistent and manageable. But anyway, so I get a lot of calls from people who think that, sort of have the idea that they can start that lifestyle aspect of it from the beginning, and they can be a part-time trainee and things like this. So I asked this lady who called me last week with that idea. I was like, I told her, I said, I get this question a lot, and I talk to people with this perspective a lot. What gives you this idea? And she told me that there's apparently a TikTok video that's telling people that it's easy to become an appraiser and doesn't require a large time commitment. So I don't know. I know TikTok is valuable for some things, but I hope that you all are wary of the information that you get from it. And this is a great example of this information being completely ridiculous. So from my own experience, when I started my trainee period to become an appraiser, I did think that I could do it part-time when I got into it, or at least I could choose how many hours I wanted to work, because it is set up to where your trainee period you have to accumulate a certain number of earned hours, okay? And so I think that is understandable that it implies you get some control over that. But the reality is you get no control over that, because you are asking a supervising appraiser to take you on and commit a lot of their time to teaching you this business, and don't let this hurt your feelings, but you will be a drag on them. Like, they will get nothing out of helping you and teaching you this at first, and they will be hoping to eventually get something out of it, okay? But at first, you'll be nothing but a drag. So because of that, you have no choice but to work on their schedule. As much as they need you to work, when they need you to work, you are working their hours. You need to be able to offer extreme flexibility and motivation, really. I have learned that if you're not what I call money motivated in this business, you're not gonna like it that much. The residential appraisal work is a volume game. My supervising appraiser described it as a grind. I don't really find it a grind because I love it, but it is a volume business. So you've got to find some sort of motivation in there, and I don't really know what the motivation would be if it's not to earn a nice living. So it's not, I bring that up to say, if your motivation off the bat is to have a lifestyle business, you're not really speaking the language that your supervising appraiser is going to want to hear. But this TikTok video is telling people that's easy to get into. And so I was telling this agent, I did the math, and when I became a trainee, I thought that I could do it part-time. I'd already taken all my classes, so I'd actually gotten a supervisor before I was dispelled of that notion. Unfortunately, I did it in that order because I got to his office and I said, I think I want to do this like 4 hours a day so I can work on my real estate agency business 4 hours a day. And he's like, no, that's not going to work. You're going to be here every day until you finish your reports, until you get all the work that I've assigned you done, and then you can go home, or then you can work on whatever else you think you need to work on. So over the course, when I signed up for that, I was signing up for a minimum of 2 years as a trainee, and during my trainee period, the licensing body changed that requirement to 1 year, which I think is probably impossible to manage. But I did ultimately manage the trainee period in about 1 year and 8 months. And over the course of that 1 year and 8 months, I figured, working on the schedule that he required me to work, which was completely production based, I worked over 6,000 hours in a year and 8 months doing my training stuff. That does not include the amount of time I had to go to class. That was literally just the average weekly amount of time that I spent in the office, over 6,000 hours in under 2 years. So that is an extreme amount of work. That is an extreme sacrifice for your family to make, to have you away from home that much. It is an extreme sacrifice for you personally, because that amount of work takes a toll. You make very little money as a trainee. And so, bear that in mind if you think that this is the direction you might want to take your life, especially if you've already got a good career. There are other options to getting into appraising. There's a program, it's an acronym, but it's called PAREA. It does allow you to get to become an appraiser without doing the trainee period. But this person that I talked to last week told me they had looked into that, and it was over $10,000 in education fees to go through PAREA from what they looked at. So that's extremely expensive. So it's kind of a balance. Like, are you going to put down a lot of money to get your certification, or are you going to invest a lot of your time? Me personally, I think the time is really the only way to go. this business has an extremely significant experience component that I think there's really no substitute for. And PAREA is fairly new, and your work prospects after it, I think, are a little bit untested. Like, I don't know anybody who's actually come out of it at this point. So anyway, just thought while I've got really no burning questions to answer, I might throw that out there to help dispel bad information. I'm happy to talk to anybody who thinks they want to get into this. Again, I love it. I don't have, as hard as it was to get my certification and go through all of that, I have loved every single day of being an appraiser. I love what it allows me to do in helping agents and bridging the gap between agent work, the boots on the ground, and the appraisers doing the analysis and reporting on what the market is doing. I just love it. It's so interesting. But I'm a big nerd, and if you're not a big nerd, you might feel differently about it. So anyway, I hope something in there is helpful. I hope you have a great day. This is the week of Thanksgiving, and if you celebrate, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And I appreciate you watching as always.